like to welcome and say thanks for inviting me to participate in this panel about Sigma Delta Pi Centennial. I'm chairing this panel today with Professor Merilis Gazarian from St. John's University, Andel Brand from Florida State, and Comfort Pratt at Texas Tech. Thanks very much for giving me this opportunity. I am the current advisor of Sigma Delta Pi Tau chapter at Adelphi University. The Tau chapter was authorized at Adelphi College then in 1931. It was amongst the first 19 chapters at the national level. Sigma Delta Pi was instituted with the help of Professor Catherine Louise Haymaker, who was chair and professor of Spanish at Adelphi College at the time. She was Sigma Delta Pi advisor since 1931 to 1945. Born and raised in Costa Rica, where her father was in government service, she came to the United States as a young woman. She earned a PDB from Missouri State College and a PhD from the University of Chicago in 1917. At the University of Chicago, she was also the president of the Spanish club, El Centro Español. At Adelphi, she contributed substantially to the Latin American program and was highly respected by her colleagues. In 1925, Professor Haymaker became the president of the American Association of Teachers of Portuguese and Spanish. She also brought the first chapter of that organization to Long Island. She won popularity in the Spanish circles through her untiring and productive efforts and her key enthusiasm in promoting Hispanic culture in the United States. As advisor of Sigma Delta Pi Tau chapter, she held meetings at her Brooklyn home where officers were elected. In 1932, Sigma Delta Pi Tau chapter raised money for the scholarship fund with the idea of sending the students with the highest record in studying Spanish to study at Middlebury Spanish School. It helped to defray the cost of that summer program. The Tau chapter offers similar scholarships up to 1945 when Haymaker retired. In 1935, the Tau chapter held the first Hispanic rally at Adelphi College in Brooklyn. Haymaker was also the advisor of the Spanish club, which under her leadership organized activities celebrating the Hispanic culture. On leaving Adelphi, she moved to her family home in Warrensburg, Missouri, where she spent 40 full active years in retirement. She died February 28, 1982, at age 91. After Professor Haymaker, Dr. Ruth Richardson became the advisor to Sigma Delta Pi Tau chapter. She was also a professor of Spanish and the chairman of the department since 1945 until her retirement in 1964. During her tenure, she established a highly respected program of Hispanic studies, attracted attention as a Latin American scholar, and left a legacy of devoted alumni and colleagues who have followed her steps. Born in Friendship, Maine, Dr. Richardson received her BA in 1917, her MA in 1921 from Boston University, and then her doctorate from Columbia University in Spanish Lit and the Golden Age poetry. Before joining Adelphi in 1945, she taught at Maryland College for Women, at the University of New Hampshire, Baker University, and Worcester College. As the chair of the department, she's known as a dedicated professor to her students and her teaching. Her apartment in Garden City became the place where induction of Sigma Delta Pi took place and many other activities related to the Hispanic world. At Adelphi, she taught a generation of students to enjoy the Hispanic literature. Many of her students went on to having distinguished careers in teaching and related professions. One of her alumni shares the panel with me, Dr. Marilise Gazarian, Adelphi 1955, who was a student of Dr. Richardson. She remembers Dr. Richardson as a delicate yet a strong person. Dr. Gazarian goes on to say that Dr. Richardson made an impact in her life. Dr. Gazarian was inducted into Sigma Delta Pi Tau chapter in 1955. In her own words, quote, "Little did I know that I will devote my whole life to what become for me a close-knit family," end of quote. Also, Professor Robert Handelsman, 1953, quote, "She inspired us to teach saying, earn a little, spend less," end of quote. And Dr. Gladys Nossenbaum, 1950, who still remembers the ceremony where she was inducted into Sigma Delta Pi, saying, quote, "The music of Granado and Danza Española number 5, end of quote, was heard during that time." Dr. Nossenbaum was inspired by his mentor, Dr. Richardson, quote, "who personified the love for the beautiful and musical language of Cervantes," end of quote. Alumni and benefactor Robert Hartman, 1954, remembered Dr. Richardson saying, quote, "Professor Richardson was extraordinary. She had a great influence on her students. With contact across the country, Dr. Richardson helped arrange fellowship for us. I chose to complete a master's degree in Spanish in New Mexico. It was a great experience, and had it not been for Dr. Richardson, I would have never even thought of going up there." Mr. Hartman endowed the Robert G. Hartman Scholarship for Excellence in Spanish at Adelphi University in 2014. Since then, many of our Spanish majors have benefited from it. Dr. Richardson gave unselfishly of her experience and intellect to her students. She kept the flame of Sigma Delta Pi Tau chapter until her retirement, transforming the life of those who came in contact with her. Every year, the department, in honoring Dr. Ruth Richardson's dedication and work for the student, bestow the Ruth Richardson Award for Excellence in Spanish. And I would like to say, to end my presentation, that after Dr. Richardson, Professor Neil Miller from the Spanish department became the advisor to Sigma Delta Pi Tau chapter, and under his guidance, many students were inducted and many cultural activities were held. Thanks very much.